can peel or like add a little bit of safety to Pays, but maybe Carrier is going to do something crazy, and it will be just the Thresh instead. So Aphelios Thresh, certainly a tale as old as time, that one. And that will be the lock-in here into the Bard Yunara. So I imagine that Gio and Andal should have a pretty good time in lane, but T1's composition is looking really nicely well-rounded. And with the Thresh Lantern and things like this, I feel like Nocturne can kind of just do whatever he wants and then just take a Lantern to safety when he needs to transition after a Paranoia.
Both of these comps are kind of insane. I mean, when you consider the front line for T1 and the Zahin, it's going to be able to fight through Xin Zhao and like enjoy the clash with him. And also the fact that they have an Azir and a Nocturne, they can use what looked like at the beginning
of. Let's see whether he can get it done here onto the Rift for game number 1. Actually really liked the fan chant leader's voice crack on the Dul. That was really good fan chants that time around. I know we don't adjudicate fan chants all that often, but maybe that's something we're going to do more of from now on. As Carrier and Pays not having a great time already.
Yeah, that was quite useful, but it does feel like Heal's ability to reposition at level 1 is often much more sought after, as you can see here.
Gio is looking pretty healthy as Pays throws down the barrier. Just going to be hugging that turret. As Willer is making his way in, gets a ward down onto Ona, spots him out, and just audaciously charges in. And you can see the bottom lane, they are making their way over, but T1 do not have priority down there. So Andal makes his way in, and it should be a red buff.
We have some coach voice from Joker already, man. He's always... He's just like, top, bottom's going well, keep pushing top. He's talking about the prio and how to use it to get scuttles.
And just a little bit more of a focus on the jungle and where Willer is going, and that worked out here as Magical Journey is taken. What is that? That fight was crazy, as Pays will be taken down for first blood, but Andal will be traded for immediately. Both of the supports picking up some kills, but it...
I have a slight CS advantage. We do see Willer coming down here a little bit late.
All right, Emperor's Divide is going to throw Yukal back. There's the fear out from Ona, but it looks like Yukal is just fine. Still, Pays not actually able to click onto the Lantern, does get it as the ward disappears, but still is going to be in a lot of trouble. And trying to throw out these auto attacks as Willer almost just dead to carry the flash to pick up the kill on the enemy jungle. But it does mean that Gio is able to get some damage down. Man, that ramped up tower doing so much work. And T1 just...
This is my favorite part about this is the jungle diff, right? Like the Nocturne tries to do something mid, they don't even get a flash, and then down here Xin Zhao's like, I'm getting everything. End up getting that stun onto Aphelios here. Kite's back though, has the Gravitum, and then Carrier ignites, flashes for the auto, grabs the kill, ignite value.
Beautifully done. Gets level up as well, make sure that he is definitely not dying. And that tower was very more money coming in.
Rich is having a fun time. He is... Okay, Carrier is crazy.
Yeah. Willer is making his way in though, and Carrier could be in a fair bit of trouble here. Doesn't have flash. And so that Lantern, not something you really want to be taking here. 3 Talon Strike does come on through, and Carrier is likely to be very dead. Yukal can speed up Willer here, and the hook is not going to be enough. So Yukal even collecting a kill.
And the goal to even. And I think Faker once again.
Yeah, he's just going to be able to find Yukal. This time he'll flash, but that spell shield was so good to avoid the shockwave for Ona. And that is just a very dead Orianna as T1 back in the lead once again.
Yeah, Yukal's caught a little bit there. If he flashes the ultimate, very survivable, but does not.
On its way, as Pays will be able to take a Lantern over towards Carrier. T1 now looking to close in, 4v4 around this Drake. Let's see whether Ona can get in and try and steal this one away. Looks like Willer is committed. He is going to be able to take it there. As now Ona with another decent spell shield. It's Faker! Will find 2 with the Empress Divider. Now turns his attention to Andal as Gio is still free hitting. A lot of damage now onto Ona and to Pays, who are split up from the rest of the team. The dash from Gio was so sexy, but it's Pays that takes him down. Willer needs one more auto. He'll get it and takes Willer as well. It's a double as Yukal's in the back of the pit. Carrier with the blade to try and take it down, and somehow it's a triple kill for this Xin Zhao. A 3 for 4 in favor of T1, but I have to say, DRX made it look pretty cool.
Yeah, that's crisp. Exactly, that's what I was going to say, is if he plays this well, it looks very scary. Is Andil is not going to...
Yeah, Owner is down here as well. There's a Tempered Fate just to stop Pace from doing too much damage, and now Willer gets on in there. I don't know about this, though, as he does get a little bit scared. That's a lot of damage, though. Cosmic Binding as Pace is going to be taken down. It's Andil that gets the kill, but Gio's just not doing enough damage, and Owner picks himself up a double. Kind of a disaster there.
2 plates, I believe, off of that, so it's something.
Oh dear, Carrier Hex Flash in once again. Another hook, beautifully set up by that Gravitum as Gio is just dead. That is Pays throwing down that Q with the Severum. The Magical Journey does come on through there, but it's a double kill as Andil's just going to fall down. Willer is now in a lot of trouble as Owner's moving in. I think Willer's dead as well. Dustbringer comes on forward. Owner is going to hunt him down, but it's Pays with the damage. Triple kill for the Aphelios. 5, 3, and 5 to start off this game at 14 minutes. And my goodness, this game went from relatively playable to not at all in about a blink of an eye.
Yeah, he's red-white here. He's got his Crescendum to grab another plate before Rich TP's in. Sending Gio top. UCal?
Yeah, this time he'll flash.
Yeah, I think he learned his lesson. Oof. Feels like every time we cast... I mean, it's still a pretty significant advantage for the Aphelios, but things getting a little bit better here. They're also going to be able to grab the Herald off of this one, as Carrier got the Phaelite for just a second, but it will be reset. As Faker should be fine here. He's got his ult coming back.
It is just the passive going down, so that was the result of that one. Kind of cool.
And nothing
played there by Rich.
This should be a mid-turret. They got that extra plate for Gio topside. The gold still significantly in favor of T1 here, but some of these really strong, for sure.
The world's tiniest Magical Journey being taken here by DRX. As let's see whether Owner can make his way in. There's the Paranoia to start this fight off as in goes Doran. Gets into the backline. He just takes matters into his own hands. Down goes Andil already, and there is UCal falling as well. Doran will be dying because he doesn't have that passive available anymore after that fight towards the bottom side. But still, T1 get control of the Dragon Pit. DRX unable to lock that one down. And that should be 1 Dragon apiece and a 1 team fight for T1.
Yeah, still getting the kill onto Doran feels like a nice little pick-me-up after what was certainly looking to be a disaster, but T1 will be the big winners here as Gio in danger.
Yep, Faker gonna go forward, but does not quite get far enough to lock down Gio.
And Pace is like, man, I got the Gravitum on him. I was so close.
Yeah, the flash was employed though, so now Yunara with no flash. That's going to be a more easy target here for Faker.
He used his ultimate. There's no front line there for him anymore.
Oh dear. Emperor's Divide is going to throw Rich back, and I think Rich is just dead. He is. Doran going to be able to grab some revenge here in his first kill of the game. Meanwhile, could be Owner in a little bit of trouble here, but does manage to click on the Lantern. Look at all of those wards. They were invested. They
still will get this turret on the top side, so it's not all for nothing here. And we didn't talk about it just yet. I hadn't really been...
in a side lane as Carrier and Pays alongside Owner poised to get into position. Oh, I've seen this play before.
Thresh isn't here this time, but they have the TP from Doran. Let's see what he can get done.
Yeah, Faker is going to shift some sands. Counter-Strike is going to work out here. Let's see what the Faker... He does have his ulti in about 7 seconds time, and Rich is able to take him down before that does actually come on through. Meanwhile, another fight on the other side as Gio is relatively untouched. Red-white guns from Pays, but he's unable to survive. And now Doran is surrounded. Tempered Fate doing nothing at all as he pulls back UCal, but he's got an arm guard to break, and it is 3 for nothing in favor of DRX.
I mean, we've called Faker the Matador for a reason. Like, this guy has pulled people around the map. He's got his side lane cape out, but this one backfires completely on Baron spawn. DRX
surely not. They're not allowed to do it with Owner still alive, right?
I mean, he does not have Paranoia. I mean, it's new Baron and it's on spawn, so it's very difficult to take out, but they still do have this 2-item Yunara. It's going to be a contest and a TP.
Rich is very, very healthy. Hook is going to connect onto said Rich, as the rest of DRX are a little bit split in their decision-making. Faker trying to get in there, Empress Divide, and he sweeps the floor with them. There's the steal we were talking about, and you do not take Baron in the face of T1.
I mean, that was Faker getting caught inside, so it always ends up being a positive for T1, right? He never dies without a reason. Perhaps this reason came a little bit later than DRX anticipated, because he dies for the zoning ultimate there, makes sure that Doran can't rejoin his teammates. He used the Magical Journey to make sure, even with low health bars, they get out. As Pays clocks on again.
Oh dear. Not going to be able to click that Lantern this time around, as Andil, great sidestep on the hook, as well as the Tempered Fate holds Carrier in position. But now Ona diving on forward. Doran gets there as well. The stun does come on through, and Carrier still going in. It is going to be Ona going down though, and now they're just kiting. Geo able to take down Carrier in the end, and now Yukal comes on over. Faker goes golden just to see the lay of the land, and he does not like the look of it as the Sand Soldiers hit the air and Doran hits the ground. It's an ace for DRX this time.
What? Okay, well, he came into that fight still with going forward.
You've heard of the double down, Wolf. What about the triple down?
All right, well, this is a bit outdated now, but we watched Faker save the game moments before, which is why it was really cool. We're like, wow, yeah, they got Baron. This is going to be insane. All right, Owner gets the secure. But then...
But then skip the Leandries this time.
Yeah, I think if they just group and play as a 5-man instead of splitting, they have a really good chance of closing this game out. But they do not have Prio on this Baron that's spawning in 30 seconds. The Scuttle is going to be the first target.
All right, well, Scuttle is going to get hooked here by Carrier as in goes Will, looking for that angle as Lantern comes on through. The flash Cosmic Binding onto 2. Pays finds the angle though as now Ona down to 100 health. And Rich, he just can't skate quite fast enough.
I mean, the Baron isn't up yet, so this is very awkward. Like, you commit the flash there and a ton of ultimates.
But Flash Paranoia down for Ona means that it's very difficult to get him in without Carrier getting into position to deliver him.
It's a lot of team fight power gone here for DRX, but with a lack of vision here for T1, it's going to be really difficult. The fact that this Baron has a lot more resistances means they have a little leeway here, a little bit of play around this one. Yukal is zoning as if he has ult, but he certainly does not.
Well, Rich on an angle here as Andel can also try and make his way in. We'll see whether the Tempered Bait is not actually available as Doran dives on forward. Gio gets himself out of the way though. It's a lot of damage towards Doran, who doesn't really have too much backup. Meanwhile, there's another fight on the other side, and the hook is going to connect onto Willa. Down he will go, and the Zion is put into the passive, and so he's not even killed. And T1 just say thanks for the leash.
Yeah, this was, I think, for DRX a step too far. Joker may have used all his coach comms before this one, because I think the call definitely should have been to play around vision and the force T1 went out, grab another Baron. It looks like they're going to grab their second dragon off the game.
Man, this game is still very, very close.
Yeah, this is a really... I mean, okay, this is a crazy
That is a magical journey as they're into the blender. Down goes Andel, immediately punished for that one as the Paranoia comes on through. Willa trying to keep himself alive there as Rich just goes golden and then goes dead. Now Faker finds the Emperor's Divide. Yukal's going to flash it, but Jiu, he's still going to take so much damage. Doran uses the ulti to gap close. That was cute, as it's a triple for Pays. And there is the end of the game.
This team, this DRX team, looks like they got so much potential this year, but once again get outclassed by one of our best teams here in the LCK in T1. T1 made a few mistakes, a little bit bullish on some of their plays there towards the latter half of the mid game, but ultimately still do make the right calls, disengage from that Baron, get the reset, and look at the timing on the respawn. Looking for Andel.
Making sure they take him down one more time. Carrier says, that's my skin. And it is. I mean, Andel's he's just representing, you know? And it is the best bard skin in the game. And there is no doubt about that one. T1 will take...
Faker punished them twice on Baron. Pays does a massive amount of damage in this game. I will say I'm very impressed with how Willer and Gio played this game.
Yeah, me too.
He was positioning very good. Just going to be Corki Alistair. That's what we ended up with. I feel like this draft started off with so much potential. The Corki can follow up really well to the CC in the front line. Can Valkyrie away from engage because there's a lot of it here on the side of T1, so relatively safe, but I feel like part of why you pick Corki, and in fact a large part of why you pick it, is lane dominance, and you would win against Kai'Sa if it was a melee support, but it's going to be a little bit trickier. I'm not saying this is unplayable, but it's a little bit trickier here. This is probably going to be one of those lanes where you see Andel press heal at level 1 to try to see if he can get in there and avoid some of that damage from Nico. Try to do anything you can to mitigate that and get Corki into a good spot. Yeah, late game is insane for T1.
It is, and they can really sort of dive bomb the enemy team with, you know, the Gnar transformation, hop into crush type scenario, and then Ona's follow-up with Realm Warps on top and a Killer Instinct there as well. And if Carrier gets a wraparound to start said fight, I mean, it is almost over before it starts. Yukal is going to have a really... Into the Nico, maybe that's the thinking. I just don't know whether it was worth it. As let's get into game number 2. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see whether it's going to be as bloodthirsty here in Game 2 as it was in Game number 1. I don't know whether it is possible because the last game was just kind of insanity the entire time. But with these drafts, there are certainly going to be some avenues for...
You lose the game, so one more headbutt.
Oh, there is a nice little snare onto Andal, who takes most of his health bar in damage.
Oof. Owner is here. He's like, you know what? That's too much damage. I'm looking for something.
Well, let's see whether this dive is going to work. It's a little bit dicey, but Owner is making his way in anyway. There's the headbutt out. His chains are not going to land. Still there looking for it, wanting to find that angle. Of course, long cooldown on the headbutt for now, as Owner is going to get taken down first. And there is a very dead Kaiser as well. What the hell was that?
I mean, when I watched them stay after the initial chains combo was set up, I was like, am I missing something here? I think they can't.
Looks like the bottom one will be going over to Owner here, but Gio is going to move in.
Gio's like, I have tier and 2 longswords. Good luck with that.
Yeah, and Andal's just going to trample Faker here as well, here in this mid lane. And so it is just kind of DRX taking control of everything all over the map. That was one failed dive from T1, and it now feels like...
for it. Faker might actually get caught while they're doing this dragon. This would actually be insane. Like, look, he does not commit, but still could have been insane. Interesting.
Not in the end, as Faker does actually close in on him here. Let's see. There's a Pulverize just to try and interrupt. And the Unbreakable Will is now there for Owner. Still not a whole lot to fight for here in this river, unless you talk about a crab being a powerful thing. As in goes Andal, triple Pulverize! Pop Blossom there to answer, but it's only onto the cow, as Owner is just unkillable with that ultimate running. The rest of DRX are looking for him though, and down will go the Silas, and Carrier pops as well. Once the ultimate wears off in this game so far, this Corki is extremely fed. And we were saying, like, we weren't all that enthused by the Corki pick. Maybe we should have been more enthused,
Coach
perhaps.
Boys, maybe a shot call on this one.
Yeah, Yukal is going to be throwing back Carrier here. Does have to flash to get himself out of the way, but will be able to survive.
The people who watch LCK now even know about the OG trilogy of Star Wars.
I imagine, like, it's been re-released so many times that they have to, right?
I hope so.
Surely. As Rich is going to be looking for a little bit of an engage onto Doran here, who's kiting this one out quite nicely. Yukal moving on over those. There's a Seismic Shove flash into an ulti that hits the air. And Doran is still going to be able to walk his way out, but does have to expend the flash in order to do so.
In the jungle, and they're just continuing to just pinch sides. Faker does not have teleport, right? So if he gets caught, he is in big trouble. As Rich, speaking of getting caught.
Yeah, he's going to get walloped, and Rich is just dead. Solo bolo there for Doran, and they got his flash earlier on, and as it turns out, doesn't actually really matter too much. There's a Pulverize onto Owner, as once again, he has the Unbreakable Will. He does use it here to get out of dodge, and will be safe for the moment.
Trying to get something cross-map, but it fails, and this means Doran is just going to have this extra wave coming through. Rich feels really bad.
Completely evening out the gold lead that DRX had put together for themselves.
Pull in to make that play topside. Gets slowed here. And red buff actually for Doran, so he is just going to run him down. Gets the Mega, and you can see he tries to dash.
He just walks at him and he's dead.
Toss up.
There we go.
Got him, he says.
So Pays feeling a little bit better at this moment in time.
I mean, that's going to really be a lot of extra income that helps close that gap, what is left of it, for Gio.
Yeah.
And it's going to take a long time for him to get there, but if they can slow this down, T1 absolutely have a fight here.
Yeah, can't quite see the health bar on that dragon for now, as Owner does pick up that Unbreakable Will one more time. Yukal is going to block off the entry as the steal does not come on in. Now Willa looks for the angle. The Unbreakable Will is up, and there is the public execution for Willa into the backline. Meanwhile, Doran finds a gigantic Gnar to take down the cow, and DRX are just looking to exit the fight. There's the dash cannon from Carrier wanting to try and get on in there, but the flash forward from Doran, it just gets a flash from the enemy. And
Doran's making that happen in that big team fight with the Gnar. Bar set, gets the big wallop. Now let's see if he gets out of here, though. A bit of a caster curse. Teleport?
Yeah, there's a shove, though, so not going to be getting out of this one. The mini Gnar that could. Yukal takes a fair bit of damage, but he'll be all right. Does have the Seraph's shield. And so a little bit unfortunate. Maybe that's caster.
Yukal dead.
Now, yeah, there's a flash in. Yukal's really dead.
All right. Silliness ensues again.
Indeed. It's the circus one more time. T1 fans very well aware of what can happen. As Rich and Faker facing off.
It's incredibly close. And then in live,
Okay, got another battle here as public execution is stolen away. Andal is likely to be very dead. Voidseeker is actually what finishes it off there. Pays on the board now with his first kill of the game. He's going to park himself alongside Geo yet again. As Pays and Carrier, they do have Owner there. Public execution connects onto the cow. Flash out from Andal is going to get him to relative safety. And now Faker dealing with Rich and with Willa. And Rich is going to be able to take him down this time with the help of his friends. Nice little pickup there, and 2 minutes until that Mountain Soul as Pays gone for the 1v1 here, and Owner is going to turn up to make it a little bit unfair. In the meantime, though, Yukal looks for the angle. Flash out from Pays, almost gets tagged by the seismic shove anyway.
That should be the mid turret, though, in that exchange. Big W for DRX here.
Yeah, Willer actually diving on in for this one as well. And the jungle ambassador we saw already. I mean, Lucid demonstrated exactly how dangerous the pick can be.
And we're just going to trade turrets here on top lane, which is fine. Top and bottom, that is to say, by top laners. But this is a big win for DRX because this opens up the map significantly for Willer. He's been a level up this whole game. That remains the case. And Doran's a level up.
I think DRX has an idea of what's going on, but this Baron is going down so quickly. Andal booking it to get himself in, but I think it's just gone. Highway robbery as they take it away. Carrier off to the side. Willer is going to catch him as now Yukal making his way forward. Rich in the front line as he flashes on forward, slices, dices. There's the ulti from Willer. So sick on the play as they dive on top of Pays, who look to get over the wall. The cow is going to get sacrificed, but the Baron is not worth this much money anymore. And they lose a couple of deaths and sacrifice the Mountain Soul.
So it's a trade even on kills, but the jungler here for DRX is going to smite this dragon away. You have to imagine no way for Owner to get in. 1400 the smite, and Mountain Soul belongs to the underdogs as maybe they get even more.
Yeah, here's a teleport in. As Sterix is now completed here for Rich. He's looking to try and kill Doran. The mini Gnar that could. Cannot. Not this time. As he'll get shoved and destroyed. Unfortunate positioning there for the Gnar. But well played for DRX. And the Pop Blossom gets no value because the wall kind of blocked off everything, and then everyone kind of got to vacate the area as Faker is behind the turret. T1 kind of closing in on DRX for the moment, but look at that fresh shield that they've got for themselves. Mountain Soul circulating, a cheeky Hex Tech and Infernal there as well. I mean, there's a lot of great stats.
Sterix with this Renekton and the Ambassador just having so many additional resistances is going to feel fantastic in scrappy fights, which feels like every fight has been. Geo trying to bait them.
Oh dear, Headbutt Pulverize does come on through. There is the public execution, and Carrier could do absolutely nothing about it. Owner tries to steal away the dominance. The Gnar is massive though from Doran. Can he save the fight? The answer is no. Rich is a huge, huge crocodile, and he'll just cut up T1. DRX are looking to head towards game number 3, Wolf.
It looks
despite
like it.
Doran's best efforts.
And it looks like even though Geo dies here, it's going to be a full rout of T1. Faker the last to fall. And they're going to push in now. We do have all these Faker just cannot play the game he wants to on this Rise. He just is unable to get the economy going. What? Perhaps thought he saw an angle to ult there, but he had no team, so...
Looked almost like a... I don't know. I need a bit more context. Maybe I was not paying enough attention.
Maybe they're like, aha, he doesn't think I have the flash engage. Maybe I'll just get him with a sneaky walk up and engage normally. But I don't think he will, in fact. I think this Baron is probably just gone.
Well, Realm Warp was used just to see what was going on at the Baron. They do manage to get the Scryer out there as well. Shoved back onto Owner. He now has the Unbreakable Will, which is so scary. But look at this, DRX just keeping them at bay. The cow throws down that ulti, presses Pulverize for fun, and DRX can take a Baron and move on now towards this Elder that's spawning in 10 seconds time. And this is probably the fight that T1 wanted to take.
I mean, they use the Renekton ult, but he gets the Fury out of it, and Andal's not going to have his ultimate, but I don't think he cares that much because they got the shields, and T1, this has to be their fight, or this game is lost. This could be the way back in.
I mean, there is that hijacked Unbreakable Will.
And Doran's
lots of tools here for T1.
Doran's Narbar in a pretty good spot here. Carrier on the flank as well. No wards. Oh, this could be huge.
Yeah, Yukal needs to make this Weaver's Wall work as it is available. Doran Yeah, not actually going to be able to interrupt that. It's at the public execution onto Faker, who gets exhausted and cut down where he stands. Doran trying to find it, gets a double knock into the wall, as Andil will be the one taken out first. Willa still trying to get this work done, but it's Doran that's dead. And the Elder Dragon now getting turned on by DRX with the man advantage. Owner is still there with his smite available, and Pays is up and available as well. Can they lock down Yukal? That's the question. The flash out from Pays to avoid getting hit, but Owner is just going to get slaughtered. And DRX, I think they're doing it. They're taking the Elder Dragon, and this could be the way that they win this game.
I mean, such a patient fight from DRX, was phenomenal control.
Man, I really want to hear what Joker says. If DRX wins this game, oh my goodness. He's just going to be so happy, isn't he?
I think he might be out of coach comms this game.
Oh yeah, sorry. But I mean, like, but afterwards.
Oh, sure.
You know, yeah, after the game.
Absolutely.
He's not going to be able to do another coach voice.
Yeah, I think, you know, the amount of time T1 was able to buy at the end of that fight might give them one more attempt to just, like, wave clear here, but Faker still doesn't have his actualizer. I think this is just an inevitable loss here. Man, Yukal's got that wave pushing mid, and this inhibitor is not long for this world.
Yukal is really making Talia look like a great champion in this game. He's just having a brilliant performance. As now with the Elder, going to be very difficult to stop this one as Jiu just kills Faker. Okay, Pop Blossom now being set up, but Jiu is able to avoid it. Carrier is going to get eaten by a dragon. Doran going to follow suit, and DRX will obliterate them as they now take down the Nexus turrets and send us to a Game 3 versus T1.
And you know, I said at the beginning of that failed dive against Gen G, you lose that one, might be game over. That's just it. You're like, well, I guess we're going to game 3. It felt like those advantages. Oblivion, and this is just a different look. Like, this is a different player than what we watched last time around just a few months back. Jiu looks...
I do like the amount of damage that they have available, though. And so it does mean that if Pays starts hopping mad, then perhaps there's just a million orbs that are going to be thrown into his face, and you can't really do too much to hop away from it. The Renata comes in very obviously.
Yeah, I want to say Kalista, or sorry, not Kalista, the Syndra is 0-2 so far here at the LCK Cup. We saw it almost win, I believe it was even yesterday. That was it Romer that played it. It's been a pick that wins you lane oftentimes, and perhaps that's part of why Yukal picks it up here into this Aurora. But if you fall behind with this comp here for DRX, like, say goodbye to the game. It's just not going to happen. You have some conditional engaged with Vi. Like, yeah, that's why I like the Ahri more, because you have Vi Ahri as a setup, and then Braum can follow up. You have the Gragas.
Pretty, I imagine, volatile game. Let's get into it. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Willa rocking the Team Rocket Grunt Vi skin. I love that. Big fan. And Rich just going to wander towards...
They have vision, so they know that Vi isn't there, so just kind of an awkward spot now. Andil is in an awkwarder spot.
Yeah, don't know about that one. We'll be able to stand beside Jiu to get himself out of here, but he's down to about 150 as Carrier looking for a few of these autos. Jiu answering back here momentarily. And Andil still had his heal, which is, I think, why T1 didn't go overly aggressive. And Yukal is running out of blue stuff, but is hitting Faker with a lot of abilities. As that's a great handshake back onto Jiu. Oh my goodness, Pays almost just kills him.
Got it.
Picks it up, and Vault Breaker gets him out of the Cataclysm as well. Now Doran looking to try and close this one in. There is, oh no! Delivers him over the cease and desist, comes down. They're looking to try and kill Doran, and they do manage to take him out. First blood over to Willa, as now Owner desperately trying to pick it up, and he will be able to at least get rid of the enemy jungler, as body slam avoided with a swift flash from Owner. And between worlds goes Faker to get out of the way of Yukal.
Colin in the bottom lane, potentially.
Yeah, another one here, as Jiu taking so much damage here. The handshakes are just so good. He is the best at short teleports, I guess.
He got the scatter out with the bait.
And now, T1 looking for an angle here. Handshake onto Willa is going to miss. The Fate's Call also kind of goes wide here, as now Pays in a bit of trouble, but Faker makes his way over. Cease and Desist comes in. The bailout is successful, but it's Jiu that takes him down in the end. And Andil, not long for the world. That is Faker collecting that kill. It's a double for the GOAT. And T1 well and truly on the board now, as they go back to the Drake, but it is going to reset.
Jiu gets his wave pushed in. He can actually kind of sandwich with his ultimate. T1 have to back away. They're going to lose scuttle control here as well in just a moment.
Don't know about this from Gio, as he does move into this crush. Willa gets on top, though. Cease and desist once again, as Pay's not going to get bailed out this time. Handshake comes forward as Gio just trying to stand his ground. The flash has to be used from Ona to get himself out of the way, as Andil is going to hold him in position, and down goes the Jarvan. Well, out goes the Jarvan for the moment, and is going to dodge a bunch of abilities before he is inevitably dead. There it is. UCal locks down that kill, and DRX moved to 4-4, and the
sometimes makes mistakes, but the late game team fights are great. His early skirmishing has been phenomenal this season, as this is a very aggressive little look in. I want to call it contest from T1.
Yeah, FaZe is going to move on forward. There's Between Worlds. Is Andil going to be the target? He is taken out. Faker very low on mana, but Willer is looking to try and catch up to him. Let's see whether they can get that one done, as UCal is already dead. Out goes Willer, but in goes Gio, and Faker is going to survive. Woo! A couple of swift kills here for T1 in trade for the Dragon.
All right, well, it ends up being a real contest in the end. Not able to get the objective, as you say, but some money is definitely feeling pretty nice for them. They'll take a 700 gold lead. Rich, maybe some more money.
Yeah, he does have flash, does use it, and dies. Wave. Yeah. We saw that, exactly that happen. And just pointing out the importance of denying Double Dragon. And so no more coach voice here for DRX, I believe. Using all of them very, very quickly here, as Willow wanting to chase down Doran. Let's see whether he does connect that Vault Breaker, and he will. Cease and desist is up in 7 seconds time, but I don't think he will need it, as Doran is just dead, punched to the face.
It's, Herald is up, and T1 trying to contest here in this choke. UCal can control so much space.
And Andil is just trying to hold them at bay here. Not providing himself as a target, but always getting information where he can. Teleport in for the Gwen, as now Pays. Just dashing around the fight here, tries to get a few sticks into Andil, as it will be Willa taking down the Rift Herald. Also gets himself the Scuttle. And like T1 are now here.
What is...
For no reason.
Yeah, the owner's almost like he didn't see the kill feed. Like he's like, where'd it go? Also, like, bizarrely, Rich was, like, doing blue buff. I didn't even know he didn't even do blue buff. He was just rotating up that way. He had TP. They got the TP out of door, and Rich just wasn't involved at all. Just hit himself.
Well, Faker goes Between the Worlds. Flash out from UCal, respecting the damage potential of this Aurora. As now Gio possibly in trouble, throws down the barrier to try and keep himself up. As now Willow looks to get in there. There's the flash, gets on top of Pays, and they will be able to get that hostile takeover out of Carrier, but it's dodged so beautifully by Gio. He does go down in the end, but it's a trade of 80 carries. Ona's going to go down as well, as Willa surviving for a very long time, but it's Faker with the cleanup. He comes in, takes down the enemy jungler, and it's a 3-for-2 in favor of T1.
I mean, they're just going to keep trying to force, and it's working well so far at the start of this Dragon. Rich rotates down, Doran isn't here. I don't think this fight is possible for T1. It's not playable. Free Dragon.
Yep, they do just give it up. And now Gio able to dash over this wall. Ona was thinking about going for a little bit of an engage in the interim, but doesn't actually come on through there. As the handshake onto Andil, not too much to come of that one either, as Rich is going to turn up towards his top lane.
Comp is starting to really gain some steam here, this 4-kill Aurora. Looking for UCal.
Yeah, Between Worlds goes Faker, and dead UCal in an instant. Willow was thinking about trying to back him up, but he was,
he has his tier 3 boots because he has his quest completed. He just has so much burst. They know that even if Willer ults, that they're pretty safe to do this. They also had Faker's flash.
Yeah, and as the Crystalline Overgrowth does go down, and DRX move forward. They should be able to take down this outer turret. Okay, there's a Cataclysm from Ona. Gio still inside it. Hostile takeover, and they're just fighting each other. As Gio survives for such a long time, it is Faker going down first. UCal collects that kill. Still has his little shield available, but it is 2 on the floor on the DRX side, and T1, they successfully avenge their turret.
I mean, Willer with the ult there, I thought perhaps the T1 were playing a bit too aggressively around this, but with no Gio here, no Willer, they're going to actually try to just send it on this Baron, and I think positioning is going to be everything.
That's a bit crazy, as in goes Doran looking for the angle here. UCal, as soon as someone's in melee range, there's just not a whole lot he can do. And T1, they stayed on this Baron. It's down to 50%. Andil looking to make his way in. Rich just being frustrating here as they show Doran the door. He gets onto this Baron one more time. It's down to 3,000.
6 seconds on Rich's ult, but he doesn't have it.
Yep, the barrel comes in, and that is going to be Pays locking down this Baron. T1 and 20-minute Barons, ladies and gentlemen. It's pretty impressive, and now Gio looking to try and take down Pays. That is Carrier also falling. And Rich,
and the TP.
He's teleporting. He wants to try and find this angle. Doesn't have the ulti, but he does have barrels, and he takes down FaZe. Doran now underneath his turret is having to deal with this very large Gragas. Owner is there to defend, and I don't know whether it's quite going to be enough because DRX are closing in. There's Willa. Down goes the Gwen. The Gragas is going to be sacrificed, though, and FAKER turns up. And this is just a bloodbath. It's a mess on both sides.
I mean, still, ultimately, T1 walk away with the prize. They get the Baron, doesn't have teleport. And then this teleport here from FAKER as well looks like, okay, they've sealed the deal, but enough time is bought. Jiu finally shows back up here. Rich flashes in, then goes for the TP to cut them off, and just barely, there's some heroics from Jarvan and this Aurora. Owner and FAKER save them.
And in the meantime, we have even more stuff happening. Owner goes in, Willa down very, very low, but he has now a door to try and keep him safe. The culling is just going to split off this fight as the Fate's Call does go down, but Carrier not actually going to utilize it. There is a soul point on the table here for DRX, but T1 have started off this Dragon, and Ando looking a little worse for wear. Some big buttons on cooldown on both sides, but it's Willa being so low that means that it's just impossible.
I mean, DRX, it feels truly from Rich. It gets tougher and tougher as these resistances start to come through on any Mountain Drake picked up, as these items start to come through on these fed carries. I mean, this Gwen is so big, almost too big to fail already. Looking for the ult now, and Owner's there. They're going to have to descend it mid, I think.
Yep, DRX looking to try and go for a bit of a cross-match because they know that Rich is just very, very dead. Doesn't have the cast, doesn't have a chance, and he is going to be taken out. Looks like no real angle here, though, for DRX to try and make any cross-map play, as it's just going to be Willa once in 20 seconds' time. And teleport going to be used here for Yukal to try and defend this outer turret, but I mean, there's 4 people here. I don't know about this one, as Yukal just put immediately into the Cataclysm after the flash. He is able to throw down a bunch of damage, but FaZe is able to shrug it off, and it's a double kill for Doran.
It wasn't the right call to look for the TP defend of the turret. They didn't have the tools. If they had a Gragas there, who's going to spawn now, I think that would have been a realistic option. He's got Body Slam, he's got the cask, he appeal. They thought the Braum would be enough. It absolutely was not. And as a result, it's a dead Syndra and a second turret to fall in the mid lane. And there is no defending this one. T1 pulling ahead.
As the mist can be very problematic. He puts it down now as they look to try and get rid of this turret first. Scatter the Weak does come in. There's the culling as Doran goes golden, but they just take down the turret. In the meantime, teleports coming in from everywhere, and Owner from over the wall. Jiu able to dash out of the way again from some more buttons, but it's not going to be enough to keep him alive. Willa is also limping out of the fight. Yukal takes down FAKER, though. DRX, the rest of them are just melting. Owner gonna grab a double. Doran dashing towards Yukal to get rid of him again. And Owner feeling like he will be able to take down this Syndra, but Scatter the Weak to try and create that distance. But with only one left standing here on DRX, it is another Baron for T1.
DRX great defense. The death cap FAKER was desperately trying to put together. He's got it now.
Yeah, and so does Yukal, but I just don't feel like it's going to
not the same kind of impact.
Just a few thumbs up as the inner turret is going to inevitably fall.
Jiu doesn't knock as fast as he can through the mid lane, but I just don't think it's a winnable fight, even without FAKER. And if you just sit back and lose the turrets, okay, hold on, Owner.
Yeah, Scatter the Weak is going to connect. Owner is going down very, very low. Does have GA, and it does get procced by a big old cask from Rich. But still,
I think Owner might be okay with that because FAKER's back now and they still have a minute left of Baron. They can now siege the base freely, and with no cast to deal with, it's pretty safe.
Yeah, exactly right. And they should be able to now get rid of this inhibitor turret. The rest of them had to go back to the fountain because they were looking worse for wear after that fight. They do get their health bars back, though. And now Doran, he's going to be the one that steps forward himself. Owner's still looking a little low, but still, inhibitor turret is now gone. Inhibitor still standing for the moment, as DRX not giving up without a fight. As Willa diving on in, good handshake there from Carrier, but the culling is going to soften him up. There's the Fate's Call, has to be thrown through as T1 considering a re-engage. Scatter the Weak connects, lands onto FAKER here, takes once again so much damage. Hostile takeover, tries to get avoided, cease and desist though, onto FaZe. The GA comes through now for Willa, as now Rich moves away from Doran to try and join the rest of the fight. And they're chasing, but these health bars are so low, and FaZe is so mobile. It's such a difficult moment.
Oh, Doran's 2 levels up. They're going to try to collapse on him here, but good luck.
Yeah, the needlework comes out. Out goes Willa because he knows it's only a couple of those, and he's just dead. The rest of DRX are able to navigate it, but look at this, T1, they were the ones running away before, and now they are looking to try and take down another inhibitor in the enemy base.
I mean, DRX from a thread, hanging on in this game, looking for Pace now.
I think he's just dead. The handshake goes wide. The bailout doesn't work. And now they're going to chase down Carrier. There's the scat of the week, and Force of Will be able to take him down.
I mean, a few more kills, and they could actually turn this game around. I mean, it's not even about the bounties. It's just about these long respawn timers here. They get map control back, and suddenly the game feels playable. They defend the bottom inhibitor. They're able to collapse on the door in there. It took a long time to push him off of those Nexus turrets. His owner is just barely going to get out before any follow-up comes through, but this jungle does not belong to T1, at least not until these respawns come through.
This is such a weird game.
I mean, DRX are playing phenomenally well. Their team fights have been scrappy, but they have been so well coordinated, and this is without Joker's help this time.
Yeah, no more coach voice available unless they start using T1's coach voice options. Because I don't know whether they've used too many of those. As Willa now starting a fight once again. There's the cast, but down goes Willa. Owner is still standing as Gio trying to finish him off. Faker goes between the worlds and will be able to get himself to safety. And they're unable to kill Owner.
They just spent everything trying to kill the Jarvan. Lost should be able to get here, no problem. And also has his ultimate to push, stop the push.
Yeah, Rich, oh my goodness, that burst damage absolutely insane. As Doran diving on in, Willa looks for the angle, great handshake onto the Vibe. Doran thrown around like a ragdoll. Great use of the body slam, but Doran should still be able to kill him. He goes golden just to buy some space, but Yukal's dead. Both solo lane is down, and T1 have decided that it's time to win. As Gio not able to keep himself alive this time. It's Paze that locks down the kill, and this time it's only Willa that survives.
And top damage in the fight goes to Jarvan for T1.
Sanity.
And unfortunately, the fight was a bit disjointed there for DRX. It needed to be a desperate one. Willer's ultimate on the wrong side. And T1 walk away victors on what was a closer game that I think that it had any right to be.
Oh dear. Willer is very, very dead. Nexus turret's going down, and T1, they will finish this one off. 29-15 in a 34-minute game. Are you not entertained? As this was a bloodbath from game 1 to game 3. In the end, T1 able to take it, able to even up the scoreline between Team Baron and Elder. But man, DRX made him work for it.
A very, very close series, I think, compared to anyone's expectations. You know, when you look at how close DRX made that first game against Gen GE into getting completely obliterated there, we're like, okay, was it a fluke?